eModels.co.uk. Make something awesome.
Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models, and this is my continuing build for eModels, eModels.co.uk, of the Benz Patent-Motorwagen 1886. Now, I know this is sort of jumping in somewhere through because I've already done some, and you might not have seen it because it's not in this playlist, it's not this video. This is what I've achieved so far. Most of this was done on a live stream, on the normal eModels Monday live stream, when we all built some models instead of having our regular hanging around and chatting. So yes, if you want to go back and watch that, I'll put a link in for which one it is. But that's what I've done so far. So progressing onwards from this, that was up to stage 7. Putting in the suspension and things like that. So continuing the build with stage 8, we're going to be putting a couple of bits of seat on, and then the big flywheel, and then putting the engine together. As ever on my builds, I'll get the parts ready and then film putting them together, and we'll go on from there. Right, as this is the start of a new video, I shall show you what goes on. I've got the part that I've just cut off the sprue, so you can still see a couple of nub marks on there. What I'm going to use is a little sanding stick. There were only 2 attachment points on here, just here and here, so I'm just going to sand those down a little bit, basically till you can't feel them anymore, and you might still be able to see them because the plastic may have been slightly whitened, but as long as you can't feel it, that's the important thing, because obviously this is going to be painted anyway. So there we go, that's those. So not there anymore, excuse the focusing, come on, there we go. Yep, that's that fine. I've already done the other one, and they are just going together. They're not nubs on there, they're part of the build, I believe, although they're not shown on the picture. Oh, they may, because they're underneath, or maybe they are nubs. Let's have a look, see, that's got that hole up there and that's going in that way. Let's have a closer look and see. Yep, it would appear that they are also nubs on the side that weren't actually attached to the sprue, so I've got to get rid of them as well. I'll get rid of them and then stick those 2 bits together, and then it goes on to the building itself. Okay, that's those 2 sanded together, sanded and then glued together. You can't sand them together. Now that needs to go in here, but where this has just been glued, I've still got a bit of play and a bit of give in it, which is good because I don't know exactly how it's going to need to fit. These little end pieces have got to fit up into there like that, but then that bit obviously needs to touch down the bottom there. So while I've still got it a little bit, and while the glue's not set fully, it gives me a bit of time to play around with it and get everything sitting in there just about there. So I need to add some glue to those and get that stuck down. So a little bit of the extra thin at the top there where that's definitely touching both sides, and I'll go along that front edge where that's going to go. And then I'll just hold that together for a few seconds or a minute, just to make sure it's where it needs to be. Right, I have run some more extra thin just around the edges where it meets in, and that's all dried on there now. So that's getting there, looking good. The next part is putting together the big flywheel, which again is nice and easy. Just run some glue around the edge. Still can almost see it nipping around when it gets there, and that fits onto there just like that. There we go. So we'll let that dry before I put that on there. I'm going to paint this after it's all assembled, because I figure it's skeleton enough that I can get to it all. That is going to go onto there, just like that. It will be fixed, so yeah, bit of glue on there, on the post itself, and then drop that in place on there. Looking good, looking level-ish. Straighten that up a touch. There you go. And one more piece. This strut goes across the top, basically at the back of the edge piece there, the other side of that. I'll put that on there in a moment. And then we're on to building, getting the engine part assembled. Okay, there we have the engine assembled. It's pretty small. It's very, very small. All of these bits were actually all individual. So small I can't focus on it. There we go. Individual parts, the post and the two cogs on there. So I've got it all together. Now I just need to tidy up the edges, sand it down a little bit, and then mount it to the chassis. There we go, all mounted nice and securely on there. Ready for the next part, which fits into the back there. And there we have the next three parts, all to be stuck together and then mounted to the front down here. Again, just using extra thin, put them together as it says on the instructions. Let's put them down so I don't lose them. I'll be putting my visor on to see what I'm doing with this, because it's pretty tiny. So we've got that bit that way round, and that handle with that end going in there goes into that little indentation hole there, just like that. So dab of glue in there first, and then I'll just hold that for a few seconds to get that to locate in place, making sure I get this going off at the angle that it shows on there, which has got to be that way round, something like that. Just about see that. I can't see the screen while I'm showing you because I've got my glasses on still. That will go on there a bit like that, and then when that's dry I'll be able to put the bit on the other side, then mount it to the front and continue on. Okay, the tricky piece in this was getting the rod connected through inside into the hole in there. This connects up here, and these two obviously join up there as well. So yeah, lots of fiddly bits to do. I didn't expect this kit to have so many small details as it does. So it's an interesting build. It's fun and interesting and slightly more challenging than I expected it to be. But there we go. Progressing onwards, the next part is to get some more piston things on the side, and then put a wheel together. So it's not a wheel, it's another bit for the engine. So I'll get that bit done and assembled, and then come back and show you it done. And there we have the... No, even better. Let's get the focus first. And there we have the pipes attached to the side there, and the wheel on the top. Now that wheel does have to be glued in place. So as I'm doing variant 1, which is not having to scratch build the belt system, the other wheel down here is the same, and you can see on it, I haven't glued this one in place, it's got little notches where the belt is sort of going to attach. So I've left that one loose, but I will be gluing it in place when I get the orientation correct. I can't get it back on there now, but anyway. So the first belt I've cut off has a twist in it. This is the one that goes from the bottom of the bit that I've thrown on the floor, the bottom of this wheel to the top of that wheel. So I do need to get that back where it should be. And then I've got another wheel, another pulley belt half to cut off and put, obviously crossing over the other way. So this is the tricky bit, because you need to get it the right way round and the right orientation. It twists basically half a twist, so it doesn't matter which way round it goes, or indeed which way round it goes, because the twist that way is twisting that way is twisting the same way, so it doesn't matter which way round it goes at all. It makes no difference whatsoever, but you do need to get it the right bit. So this one needs to attach to the top here and to the bottom under there when I get that in the right place. I can't film doing that because it's all, you know, getting in close and not being able to see exactly what I'm doing. But when I get that one on, I'll get the other one off and show you how that's going to attach. Right, that's got that fitted in there. I've glued this wheel in place now because I know the rotational position that's got to be in to get everything lined up. Next bit is to get the other side done on exactly the same, except it goes over there to the side of that. So one side of that will fit just like that, and the other side to the top wheel. Again, I need to get in too close to show actually doing that, but I'll get one side of it done. So let me just put a dab of glue in that indentation. Get this through from that side. Hopefully not drop it. Obviously it needs to be flat, which I can do, honest. There we go. Oh, no, it doesn't go that way. Let's try one more time. That in there, and that will just neatly tie up to there. I might need a little bit of filler just to get that join looking a little bit better. But with that on there, that top one, as you can see, almost joins up. So just a little bit of manipulation will get that where that needs to be as well. And yeah, just a touch of filler in the joins there, especially that top one. Obviously that is going to be the more visible of the four, but that's not too far off. I'll just hold that there for a few seconds to give the glue a chance to flash off and set properly. That's that in there. I might even get away with just sort of blurring the lines a little bit with some more extra thin in there and squishing it together a bit, because there's not much of a join there. Once you've got some paint, primer and paint on it as well, that will probably be perfectly okay. But we'll be able to tell when it's dried. So that's the mechanical bits. Next up is a box. So again, I'll get the parts cut off and sanded down, get that attached to there, and I'll do the next bit as well. The little looks like the petrol reservoir, probably. I don't know mechanics, as you'll be aware if you've watched anything that I've built before. So I shall see you soon when I've got those ready to go. There we have the box and, I don't know, fuel tank, maybe, possibly. Let's get them in the right places. That needs to go on top of, all the way down here. That's the other side of the box, the base of the box. So a little bit of glue around the edges there. And then dropping that in place. The little T indentation needs to line up on there as well. So get that in, home, and then just a touch more glue in there and along that edge. So that's that. I don't know if that's for storage or some important part of the mechanism. I have no idea. The tank I put together, that's going, let's get that way round, then that's that way round. On top of that hole there is where that back bit goes, and the one down the front is where the other bit goes. So 2 attachment points there. Put that in the right place. And that one goes through there as well. Right, there's a hole in the back of the seat that goes to. I don't know why we need a hole in the back of the seat for that to go to, but we do. Just go through a little bit deeper, and that needs to connect up on there at the same time. It's very fiddly. It really is. I dread to think what this kit would be like in a smaller model, a smaller, bigger scale, if you know what I mean. There we go. That's that there, that's that there, and that's that there. So that glue would have mostly flashed off in the time it took me to do that. So let's reapply this. I think I'm severely shooting myself in the foot by not painting this as I go. But I decided at the beginning that I was going to do the build and then do the painting. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. It is a very open design, so you can still get to bits with a small paintbrush. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. So that's that. Next up is building a few more support bits, another tank, and then the seat. So I'll get all of that done and assembled, and then come back and show you the most difficult part of all. If I turn the page, the fun part, making the wheels. Now this, I believe, is all done through photo etch, and so this will be interesting to do. So I'll get up to there. I'll have the seat ready to attach, and I shall see you in a moment. That's the seat assembled, made out of cushions and other cushions and lots of padding and stuff. So that's going to go on top of the base there. I'll just get some glue around the edge. I should get that where it needs to be. And then I can get a bit more glue in to sink underneath and get it in there properly. There we go. So once that's there, that will use some caterpillar action, and we'll get it down where it needs to go. And then I think it's time to dig out the photo etch. So I'll leave that to dry and come back soon with the difficult stuff, because all of this has apparently been very easy so far. So the moment you've all been waiting for, photo etch. This one uses photo etch for the spokes on the 3 wheels and the gears for the back 2 wheels. So I'm going to use a small craft knife to cut out these pieces. You can see just about, there's only like 4 connection points with each of these, and obviously they're very, very fine. So I'm going to use a metal file just to get rid of the little nubs from cutting it off. Obviously supporting it right next to where I'm filing as well, so as not to bend it too badly. That's that, a little bit there. The bigger bits are easy, smaller bits the tricky one. There we go, just that there. Right, I'll get the other 2 bits of one side off, straighten that up, and put them together. So we've got the 3 of those glued together to make that a bit thicker, and that fits on this side. The centre goes over there, that goes over the little bit, and the one small plastic piece glues on the top there, and that sort of holds it together and fits it all together. So I'll do that with the glue that I haven't got out, the normal extra thin, and then do the same on the other side. Then we're ready for the wheel. Photo etch fun time. I've done one wheel, so I shall show you how I did it. The instructions for it aren't terribly clear, and they're a little bit misleading as well, but they're sort of right. You get spokes, which have individual points to cut out on each and every single spoke, which is lovely and great fun. So I've done that one already. Now, the wheel itself, you don't cut off with the sprue. Oh. Initially, you just cut the bit of sprue off, and that's what this frame is used to help you build it. The 4 blobs that are still on the back of the sprue locate onto the 4 holes there, and that holds that securely in place. Then comes the tricky bit. There's also another piece that you use for the building but isn't actually part of the kit. You need to pick up the very delicate photo etch spokes, which are very difficult to pick up and carry, So even just touching that wrong, I bent one of those spokes a little bit. But that's not too much of a problem. What we're going to do is pop that down on there and attempt to get the centre lined up to the centre and the spokes lined up to the spoke. Now on the outside of this rim, there are individual bits that have got holes in them and individual bits which have got pins on them. So you need to make sure these go over the pins because the spokes themselves have a hole. So I've got that down over the centre hole. So then you can pop that back over the top and basically just hold that in place. So you're holding it all at a slight angle. And that should make all of these line up. Now, in my previous one, they very rarely lined up. On this one, I actually got them quite close. So I'm just going around each individual one, making sure it actually locates onto that post. Most of them have, but some of them haven't. There you go, that's one that's just off to one side a little bit there. So I can nudge it over and get it locked in. So that is all of that. Once they're all on, then, and only then, can you cut this piece off of the sprue. This one's actually cracked. That's interesting. That's going to make life much more difficult. Right. The interior piece here has a crack in it. So I'm going to have to glue that first. And get that in, hopefully, the right orientation. There. So that may have happened when I cut it off of the big sprue. I don't know. Can't tell. Certainly didn't happen on the last one that I built. So yeah, now these ones are not lining up very well at all. Got to make sure the spoke bends in the right direction. Whether that again to do with that bit being broken there shouldn't make any difference here, but it might do. So I'm just going to get all of these located on, let that join dry, and then see about getting it cut apart. Right, I've let that dry for a few minutes. So what I'm actually going to do now is take off the middle piece, take off the entire thing, and there we have one side slightly bowed, as you can see there. Still very delicate, and if you touch it, it's probably going to pop out. So I'll put that to one side, make sure that glue on there has actually definitely set. I might even build up a bit more around the outside to make sure. I'm going to do that again for the other side of it, because these are actually, let's say, two sides. So I'm going to do exactly the same again, hopefully without the breakage. Then there's a middle piece to make up out of these two pieces. Two pieces there, which become the middle sort of hubcap bit, and one pin that goes in one side of that. The other side, obviously, will attach on there, like that. Now the wheels I'm going to build up but not attach, because that's really going to make painting tricky. So I'm going to build up the three wheels. The smaller front one is just the same but smaller. And once I've got those, I'm not going to build them onto that. I'm going to leave them separate for painting, because I've made enough mistakes trying to paint into that bit without having the big wheels to contend with. So I'll get the other side of that done, get the front wheel done, and then we'll see where we are. That's the three wheels completed. Actually not as much trouble as I thought they were going to be, and they've gone together quite nicely, although it won't focus. There you go. I've sanded down the edges where it didn't, where it's two parts stuck together, and yeah, they're all working as they should. The interior sort of hubcaps thing fitted. That's that. As I say, I'm not going to fit them onto the model now, as it told me to, but they do basically just go onto the axles and fit on like that. Well, the back two do. The front one is a little bit different. The front one needs another bit that holds it in place on two sides. So what I'm going to do, it's these two parts here. I'm going to put one of them on and fix that on and build everything else around it, but leave the second one off so I can't. Actually, no, I'm going to fit the front wheel. I'll fit the front wheel because it's out the way, so I can do that one. I just won't do the two back ones, so I'll put those over to one side for inserting afterwards when I'm done painting. So I'll get the last few pieces off. I might not be able to put the brake lever on. I don't know exactly how it attaches, if it goes over the top of the wheel or not. So I might leave that off. But I'll get the rest of it done. There's just the steering column. These two wheels are extra pieces from where I didn't want to scrap build a belt. But that'll be the last few parts to build. So I'll get them all off the sprue and put them on. And that's all the parts ready to go. Let's start assembling them. The first side, use the pin to make much more sense. That needs to go through the center there. It will. Get it lined up right. That goes through there. Bit blue in there, and then the other side on. Now this looks like I'm going to have plenty of room to pop the wheel in and out. I thought I might only get away with putting one side on, but I think I'm going to be able to do both sides. If I can get the second side on. Get it lined up just right. And then it goes together like that. So there's quite an angle there, and being plastic, you can bend it a little bit. So when that's set on there, I'll be able to just open those a little bit and pop that wheel in, and it will look a bit like that. I assume I'm going to be gluing it in place finally anyway, but it doesn't need to be on there quite at the moment. So I'll remove that again, but that's nice to know that that can be popped in and off quite easily. Obviously the other two big wheels don't fit exactly the same way. They will have to be glued in place. So I won't be doing those quite yet. So that was that, which is all starting to come together. Next up is the steering assembly, which I've already glued together. The two prongs of this just fit into two holes there. Like that. They only go through the top section, so again they don't go all the way through. Get that good angle. Looks like it's straight up according to the instruction manual. So that will be like that. It's all starting to come together. We've got a joining connection that goes between the two of those, which I'll do once they're dry. We've got a small wheel that just attaches into that hole there. And we've got a brake pedal that connects it up to that chunk there. Let's do that now. A little knot that's in the bottom of that. Just goes in there. Make sure I get it the correct way round without throwing it around. Yeah, it does look like it's wrong, but it's got that bit that comes out. That attaches there. Like that, so you can step in and out. Alright, I'll get the other bits attached and then see if we can attach that up. And there we have it, the completed build. I've just popped the wheels on, just the final shot. But all in all, I'm happy with it. There's a few seam lines and things on there. I've got a bit of sprue glue on a couple of joins, which I shall finish off by sanding down and making look good before the final priming. But that is the build complete. So yeah, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed watching the build. If you're building one along, then do let us know in the comments how things are going. Other than that, any questions, always ask away. So thanks for watching. I shall see you soon for the painting. Bye bye for now.